Hello guys and welcome back for some 2-5 No Limit Hold'em. I've just been informed by the tech team that we're having trouble with seat 2 picking up and scanning the cards, so let's see if we can get that sorted. A couple of familiar faces from previous cash game festivals, travelling regulars here, once again joining us in Bucharest with Connor Oldroyd from the UK and Sam Clark as well, also from the UK, both good players, and both will be giving some action, that's for sure. Aren't afraid to get in the mix. Sam, you can see there in the middle of your picture, is a YouTube vlogger. What that means is that he puts up a lot of content, and if you do want to check it out, have a look in the Twitch chat. I'll put the details there where you can find some of his content. It's really good stuff, actually, very entertaining. I was watching it with him last night. There's the YouTube link there for you. Do check that out, give him a subscribe, show him some love. He's doing some great work. So already, as you can see, we are having troubles with seat 2, but he has 3-bet it to 60. Looks like we're on a straddle already, so 2-5-10. Pretty decent stakes for you guys over the next 2 hours. Looking forward to it. Wow, and a cold call from Inea with 7-5 suited, so he's here to play. And a 4-bet from Yona in seat 8. So first hand, guys, and we've already got a 4-bet pot. 285 going in there. Looks like Blow there, or Bleu, not too sure how to describe or pronounce his name, is going to call, which means that Inea probably is going to come along for the ride for the extra 225. Let's see. Nope, decides to let it go. So 4-bet pot, Blow the caller in position, and it's going to be a tricky spot here for Yona, who flops middle pair. And he's bet 200, so I think it's a board that a lot of people would check with this combo. Welcome, Yana. Thanks very much for joining the chat. There's Connor Oldroyd there, joining us in seat 1. And below there decides to let it go, so possibly a hand like 10s or jacks, which would certainly be folding on that board, as you're not really beating anything in the 4-betting range apart from maybe an ace-5 or an ace-3 suited. And even some of those have flush draws, so nice start for Yona, up to 1.3k.
Straddle. Hateful. Nine raise, 50. 1 fold, 2 fold, 3 fold. Four raise. 100. 150. 6 fold. 160.
So Lucien popping it up here in the small blind. I think you're going to see at the higher stakes people tend to play 3-bet or fold strategy from the small blind. Makes it a lot easier to play your range. Wow, and Miron in seat 5 just coming in for the cold 4 with 3 deuce suited. Oh no. Let's try and work out what's going on. Is he just called? No, he's not in the hand. That makes sense. So Miron's out of the hand. It's heads up action as we thought. So flopping middle pair here with an 8 kicker. I guess the reason for this bet is he's looking to get some protection versus hands with overcards. Hands like King Queen get some value from. Queen 10 obviously has the open ender. So 7 on the turn is going to be a pretty tricky card. Does improve to an open ender with that middle pair, but your opponent can have a lot of flushes here. And Lucien here with the Jonnet here, sorry, with the peel on the flop does get quite a nice card to start to represent, as he is going to have one of the worst hands that he can have here, having floated the flop. But decides just to give it up, goes for the check, and that middle pair there is going to be good for the win. Interesting to see that Jonnet there floated with the backdoor flush draw, only with ace high. You know, he can get some better ace highs to fold on the river. He can really have a lot of options there with his hand.
Fold, 3 fold, 4 fold, 6 fold, 7 fold. Fold. 1 raise, 15.
Connor picking up ace king off here, under the gun 1. It'll be a very standard open. Bleo, who unfortunately we're unable to see his cards, looks like he's going to pop things up to 55. About 200 big blinds effective. Be interesting to see what Connor's strategy is facing that 3-bet. Whether he does go for the 4-bet or elects to, you know, protect some of his continuing range. Obviously, early position versus early position. Bleo is repping a really strong hand here. Something like Jacks plus, Ace Queen suited, Ace King. Obviously, some suited connectors in there as well for balance and the board coverage. But, you know, the top of the range, 200 big blinds deep. You don't really want to be facing a 5-bet here with the Ace King. And looks like he's just going to call and go 3 ways. So good stuff. Wow, what a flop for Enea here. 10, 10, 7. And Bleu is quite likely to have an overpair here a decent amount of the time based on the 3-bet pre-flop. Definitely going to be continuing this board. He's probably not going to give Connor too many, that many 10x. Can definitely have some Queen 10, Jack 10, 10-9 suited potentially. They are quite deep as well, so he could potentially have Ace 10 suited. Bets third pot. And Bleu just deciding to rip it in, and that's going to be pretty nice for an air here. Most of the time. Wow, was not expecting that. Has he got a better 10x? I mean, there shouldn't really be many other hands that he's jamming here. I mean, it would be a bit of an overplay with hands like jacks or queens. Maybe they've got some history together. Let's see what we're going to get at showdown here from Bleu. And doesn't look like he's too excited. Oh, ace 10. Ouch. Ouch. So an air here needing an 8 pronto. Or some sort of board pair. A 7 also would get him out of jail. A jack adds some fun if you can hit a 9 for the straight. Unfortunately doesn't. Are they going to run it multiple times? It looks like they are. 3 doesn't change anything, needs a 7, 8 or 3, and it's a 6, so that's going to be a scoop for Bleu there in seat 2. 1.9k pot straight off the bat, 200 big blind profit, great start for him.
One fold, 2 fold, 3 fold, 4 fold, 6 fold, 7 fold, 8 raise, 15, 9 raise, 60, 8 fold.
Nice disciplined lay down there from Sam with the 8-9. Even though it is blind v blind, your opponent's still going to obviously 3-bet a lot of better aces than you, and you're going to be sort of struggling against the top of the range. Just a hand with a lot of reverse implied odds as well. So Risto opening it up with the ace-jack. Get some information on some of the players shortly for you guys. Yeah, it was Risto, who's a 29-year-old professional. His favourite hand, he says, is his right hand. Not sure if he knows the connotations behind that for... maybe we've just got sick minds in the UK. Anyway, best achievement in poker is over 2 million in earnings online. Not sure if that's profit or what, but very successful by the sounds of things. Ristu Vlad. Let's have a look at him on Hender Mob, shall we? Looks like he's come onto the block relatively recently. He had a decent cash in the 550 main event of the Israeli Poker Championships in Mamaya. Came 10th there for 3.8k. Nice score. Won a 50 euro tournament and a super aggressive for about 1,000 euros, and a couple of other decent cashes as well. All of them in Romania, so it looks like he's a player that doesn't travel much, and yeah, that would certainly fit the bill with an online kind of grinder. Okay, so what we've got here is Yona flopping top pair with a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. Pretty decent flop as far as things go for Queen 9 suited. Once again, we are unable to see Seat 2's hole cards, which is a shame because he is, from what I can tell, a professional, and be interesting to see how he's playing the higher stakes games. So 4 of diamonds on the turn, completing the front door flush. Not sure if that's hit blow or not, but Inea does improve to some additional equity with that 9 of diamonds now.
We are opening table 14 for Texas Hold'em cash game, blinds 1-2, minimum buy-in 100 euro.
And Yonut betting once again with the Queen 9. A little bit of an overplay on a 3 diamond board with just a weak top pair. Not sure why he's turning it into a bluff. And a queen on the river, improving Yonut to top trips. Sorry, trips with the 9 kicker. Should have the best hand a relatively decent amount of the time, but having faced 2 calls on the turn, deciding to check back could be up against a better queen. What's that? King, queen, yes. So Yonut does in fact get pipped on the river. Interesting to see Blow continue that on the turn with the guy behind on the 3rd diamond completion with a hand that can't improve. But does pick up the 587 euro pot and just continues to steamroll over this table. Only a couple of hands in and already winning 1.6k. What a life. So Myron here, it looks like it's going to be his first time to chance to get involved, with the pocket 8s, under the gun 1, easy open to 15. Looks like that's going to be the standard sizing for everyone, as you usually tend to see at the 2.5 level, 3x. Risto in the big blind with ace 10, easy defend, of course. Middle set for Myron here, on a very dry board. Wonder if, should probably go for a smaller sizing here. and does get the peel from the ace-10, so any sort of jack, 7, ace or 10 on the turn could make things interesting, and here is the jack. So Risto improving to an open-ender, Myron still in there with that middle set on the flop, and some equity now for Risto, who is probably going to have, you know, all of the 10-7, some queen-10s here. His opponent is only going to have queen-10 suited and no 10-7, so he's believing that he has the nut advantage on this board. In terms of equity advantage, I think is the pre-flop raiser is still going to have obviously all the overpairs, some Jack X, some sets, some Jack 9 suited as well. Possibly not from another gun one actually. But I like the fact what Risto's doing here with that 10 blocker. 6 on the river. Let's see if he goes for another one. Does elect to check. Not really able to represent an awful lot on that river, he thinks, after getting a call on the turn that he was probably just hoping to fold out. Those blue chips are 1. Looks like one of each. And a snap fold there. Not going to be going for the river check raise. That would be a heroic line. Myron popping it up with the king-queen suited. Jonah in there for a call with 6-4 off. That's an ambitious one. And looks like Bleo is going to come along for a peel as well. Obviously not able to see his cards. Risto here has a spot where I wouldn't mind a squeeze, to be honest, with the 6-5 suited, but does elect to call, and Lucian defends with the 9 deuce of clubs. So a lot of clubs out there, and wow, what a flop for Jonat here. Flopping trips with the 6 kicker, about as good as it gets for the old 6-4 off. I think Lucian's defend with the 9-2 suited there is a little bit on the wider side, as they are 200 big blinds effective. Your flush draws are going to be dominated a relatively decent amount of the time, and yeah, despite you getting a good price, it's probably not going to be the best thing for you. So Bleo betting when check 2, going to have a lot of ace-x, going to have some maybe some backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw type stuff as well, like a 6-7 or a 6-5 could be a good hand to start betting on the flop when check 2. 10 of clubs on the turn. Not sure where all these clubs are coming from. 3 guys did have suited hands containing clubs. However, it's checked once again to Bleo, who shouldn't really be giving his opponent much 4x in the hijack here. Obviously we know different. And for that reasoning does decide to go for another probe. 50 to go. No, 125. So a very large sizing there, betting full pot. And it's a 6 on the river. Jonat improving to a full house. 375 in there. Checks it once again. And Bleo now weighing up his options. Surely he hasn't got a slow played aces here, or like some sort of pocket 10s type hand. That would be absolutely ridiculous. Bets 400. Could have ace 4 suited. There is one combination of that. The ace 4 of spades. Snap calls, and he's got the ace 4 of spades. Oh my god. What a sick cooler. Sick cooler. Ace 4 versus the rivered full house. One combination available. Unlikely to have top vote. And he's got the absolute lot. 3.5K, 696 big blinds in play. He's absolutely steaming the table over right now. Buratino, good to have you back in the mix, mate. How's the shot drinking going for you, lad? So Connor flopping top pair here, getting bet into by Bleo. It could be a tricky spot if a diamond comes. There is the jack, which gives him additional equity with his gut shot. Having been 3-bet, I mean Bleo's 3-betting range is going to be quite suited heavy. Hijack versus cutoff. He's not going to be off 3-betting with many offsuit hands, which limits the amount of bluffs he can have. If you think about one diamond hands, you know, is he really got queen jack off here with the queen of diamonds? So that means that his range is going to be pretty strong here. There aren't really an awful lot of bluffs on this board, unless he's going to turn a hand like tens with a diamond or queens with a diamond into a bluff. However, Connor does block some of those hands with that queen, so it's a really tough spot actually here for Connor on the 3 diamond board. Can't improve, could be dead against a significant portion of the range. Hijack versus cutoff is probably going to be getting 3-bet by hands like 7-6 suited, 8-9 suited, 10-9 suited. All of those are available. And I like what Connor's doing here. It's a lot of live players don't do this. Weigh up their opponents a little bit, give them a little stare down, put them under a bit of pressure, see if you can find any cracks. Kings. So flops middle set. He's got the absolute lot every single hand. Tell that guy to correctly show the cards. He's not doing anything wrong. It's just that the RFID reader has, for some reason, malfunctioned on seat 2. So, you know, it makes it kind of fun. We can sweat with him. He seems like he's a good player and he knows what he's doing. So, you know, it makes it a little bit more fun to see how he's getting on. I mean, some of the hands he's had so far are absolutely ridiculous. Running like the sun. Yeah, he did indeed have King's Buratino. That was a nice read there. How's life? Yeah, not too bad. Pretty busy. A lot of travel. Does get a bit tiring, but, you know, once again, here for the Cash Game Festival, having a great time. And looking forward to getting stuck into the Omaha as well afterwards, for sure. So Blair opening up in the hijack, really high VPIP so far, but it has been a bit of a card rack. Lucian with the 7s on the button. Not sure what Myron's thinking about here with the Jack 7 off. We do love Connor indeed, don't we? Juniper Cat says hello to you, and hello to J.A. Adams. J.A. Adams. Connor playing well so far. Managed to get away there from the top pair in a rather tricky spot. Yeah, I've been grinding a bit. In Prague, went to, obviously I was in Bratislava for about a month. Wow, so Myron here has come in for the 3-bet out of the small blind with Jack 7 off. Interesting hand selection there for sure. What a flop we've got here. Set versus 2 pair on the wettest board you'll ever see in your life. Bets 90. Lucian looks like he's counting out a raise there. With the stack depth at under 100 big blinds, I think, yeah, we do want to get it in here versus that 3-bet. He's going to have some hands like kings, aces, queens with a club, ace-king with a club, loads of hands, and yeah, he's crushing it here. Set versus 2 pair, and it's another sick cooler. With 500 stack, I don't think there's any really getting away from it. Your opponent can have a lot of 1-club hands. You're not loving it when he shoves it in, obviously, but having 3 bets so wide, you do just want to get it in when you flop that. Whoa! There's the Djakovic on the river, on the first board. Finds a way out of jail there, and if he can find a second one, it would be an absolute miracle. But no, it isn't. It's the 4 of clubs. So Chopovic. And Miron there, getting away with absolute murder with that river jack on the first board. 1.1k pot, it's going to get split up. And for his efforts there, Lucian flopping bottom set, but only making 10 euros in the hand. It's a real roller coaster, this game, sometimes. Split it up indeed. Sightgasm, where have you been hiding? Thanks very much for joining us. We are here in Bucharest. For you guys that don't know, Cash Game Festival Bucharest, it was a last-minute sort of organisation. Boss of the Cash Game Festival, Maritz, popped over to scope the place out, see if we could run an event. Got it all organised and set up, and here we are, you know, only about a month later. So quite enjoying the city, quite enjoying, you know, always going to a new place in a new country, ticking it off of countries I've visited to. It's always interesting. I really like the travel aspect of poker. Gives you the flexibility and the freedom, and you know, you meet new people and understand some new perspectives on life, and you know, see how the other half live, really. So Connor under the gun. What's he got? Ace-10 offsuit. On a table where people are quite 3-bet heavy, I don't mind some folding and some raising here. But it is generally tends to be the bottom of your opening range. But I think, you know, it's been a fairly aggressive table. It's been a 3-bet more often than not pre-flop. There you go. You see Lucian here with ace-4 off, just deciding, fuck it, let's make it 50. Miron in seat 5 gets out of the way with king-9 suited. Inea into small blind. Based on what we've seen from him so far, he's probably going to find a reason to get the money in, and there it does go in. Sam folds, and Connor in there with the ace-10 comes along for the ride, multi-way. Does have the commanding equity advantage as well with 43% 3-way. It's not a bad spot to be in. This is going to be an interesting spot because everyone's completely whiffed. Connor and Anea both have 2 overcards, and Lucian's just in there with the absolute rounds, ace-4. Is anyone playing CTO strategy? Crotch theory optimal, yes. No, I don't believe so. No one's got access to the whole card information until half an hour afterwards. We do tend to say to the guys not to use their phones at the table, but you know, it's not primary school, is it? The people can, you know, do what they want. However, no one has the Mike Postle advantage. There's going to be no crotch staring, and when there is, I'm going to go and sort them out, because we don't want that in the game, do we? So Anea floating the flop and realising that his hand has no showdown value versus what it's going to be a lot of ace-highs, some pairs that are scared of the 8, and gets the job done with a stab on the river there, folding out, I'm guessing targeting, folding out some hands like ace-X is probably the most of it that's going to fold. Did bet 160, which is quite a healthy size bet. Well, just over half pot, and yeah, plenty enough to get the job done there, and a well executed out of position float to bluff the river. Don't see that one too often. Been still recovering from surgery. Oh, that's good to hear. Good to hear, Sargasm, and been sleeping a lot. Good. Yeah, I'm well, thank you. Struggling with the sleep, I have to say. I've sort of gotten into a weirder pattern of just anywhere between 2 and 4 hours, and then waking up and trying to go back, and it's like half an hour of mithering around before I end up getting any kind of regular sleep. Has been difficult for me. So anyway, won't bore you with the details of that. Back into the action. Yeah, it does seem quite loose. It's been a pretty splashy game so far. As you can see there, Blow is in for a bag, €1,000, already sat on 3.6k, having the absolute spin up of his life. Yeah, 4-hour stints can be quite productive. I think it was some tactic that Winston Churchill used to use back in the day, but then again, towards the end of his career, he did look absolutely knackered all the time, so it might not have been the best strategy. I don't know how I know that. Random fact for the day. So Miron opening it up with King Queen, standard 3-bet from the button, 255. Ace Queen versus King Queen. I think cut-off versus button, we can choose to 4-bet this sometimes. Or fold. I think calling out of position here. I guess they are just 100 big blinds deep. Do flop a lot of top pair type hands, but I don't like calling as an option personally. I think it's a little bit loose. Yeah, that could be right. All the parties were at 11 p.m, go to the party, then have another 4-hour sleep, go to work, get home from work, sleep, go out. 4-bet or fold, I agree, Berrettino there. A little bit wide. Unless your opponent's a complete maniac, and so far what we've seen from Inea is that he is more call heavy than 3-bet heavy. Looks like he's going to have to take a business call, he's out. So back in the mix here, and an air opening it up, and a standard defend from Risto in the big blind with the ace 10. Flop is 10, king 3. So flop to middle pair, definitely going to be continuing to a c-bet of 10, which is third pot. Fairly standard stuff so far. 6 on the turn, not changing a lot, but does bring in that backdoor heart draw. Oh, it's Sam. First time we've seen Sam in action here, and he's betting 55 on the turn. So sizing up a little bit. And he's got ace-queen with a heart. Okay, so probably going to be continuing on hearts. Obviously a jack would get him the nuts. An ace would be a bit of a bad card for him. But it is the 8, so let's see if he does decide to triple it off. Hand has some showdown value. You beat hands like Queen Jack and maybe a sticky Queen 9. Hang on a sec. So the turn wasn't the 8. Yeah, Ace 10 is good. No, I think the graphics are just fucking up a little bit, but he did go for the double barrel when he turned a heart, looking to triple it off on hearts, jacks, and such like. What's going on here? Did Sam win the pot, or he's reaching for money? So I don't think so. Yeah, I think I actually quite agree, Judipicat. It's especially if it's an action player, and we've definitely seen Seat 2 being involved in a lot of pots. Makes it a little bit more interesting and makes my job a bit harder as well, which is nice because you can get a bit more out of it. If sometimes you become, and it's quite easy as a commentator to have like a natural bias towards what you're putting the guy on or what he's doing because you can see his cards already. I'm struggling to explain that there, but there's a lot of confirmation bias for sure. Thinking, oh, of course he's got this because he's done that, rather than actually sort of breaking down the hand a little bit more thoroughly. Should be with let's get it with Franke for one of the next festivals. That would be quite something. Here's an interview with Connor.
Together with Connor. Yo. How are you doing, Mike?
Could be better. We'll see how we get on the rest of the stream.
Yeah, but you're in Bucharest.
I am, yeah.
First time?
Second time.
No kidding.
Yeah, come here in March.
Okay. For what?
Poker.
So easy money, or?
Last time, yes. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, it's the first day. I think on another day. Like
Yeah. It's the first session. So listen, we met like 3 weeks ago in Bratislava.
Yeah.
Was that your first Cash Game Festival stop?
Oh.
Or have you been to one
No,
before?
there was one in London, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I wasn't there. Okay, so
I'm from London, so I've been to that one.
Okay, so it's the third time.
Yeah, I think it's the third time. Yeah, might be the fourth. I can't remember. I've been a few places this year.
Okay, how did you enjoy Bratislava?
It's one of my favourite cities in Europe, and I think the card room there is exceptional. I think the staff are fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think there was 14 English guys who came along, and we all had a fantastic time. I think the event was really well run. So hope for more in the future.
Yeah, one could actually see that you enjoyed. I mean, all the UK guys enjoyed the sessions.
Probably too much, to be fair.
I mean, you spread a lot of good vibrations and energy. So I would say
spread a lot of money around as well. Once we're pissed.
Yes, you did. So what's your expectations for this event now? I mean, you have a package, right, to the CGF. So you have the VIP happenings. You have the.
Yeah, look, I'm just going to take it as it comes. All
right.
I'm in a cool city. The games seem pretty good, if I'm honest. So just gonna have a look around, go down the old town. Yeah, see how we get on, really.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Let's go back to the TV table.
A couple of you commentating on Connor's perspiration there. Yeah, it's pretty stuffy in here actually. One of the warmer card rooms I've been in. Don't think the AC is on or even a thing. Not too sure. Should have worn a cardigan, bruh. He's all right. As we flick back, Aristo is betting £8 on the river for value with his 10. Putting his opponent in a pretty funny spot, actually. Miran thinking, can I beat anything? Looks like it's just going to be the reluctant payoff. Raisy daisy. Yeah, it's very much the capsizing, isn't it? And does get the value. And makes €11 there, or €8 there that not a lot of people would make. So Blair there, as you can see on the chip count, still the commanding chip leader with 3.6k in for 1,000. So great start for him, and potentially a Cash Game Festival package coming his way. Good to see everyone having a good time. Sam has folded, I believe, or... Oh no, we've got no cards yet. That'll be white. Sam popping it up to 15 with the King Queen. Lucian on the button with Ace 4. He does love Ace 4, doesn't he? And Ace 4 of Spades has been the gin combo so far, as Seat 2 completely cooled the life out of his opponent. Sam not in the best spot here with King Queen off. Can elect to 4-bet. Does indeed 4-bet, and let's see what sizing he's used. Probably somewhere in the region of 125 to 150. Oh, 175, very big sizing. With I think he's playing more than that, as he's just had 500 added. I'm not sure if that is live in this particular hand. But Lucian's still coming along anyway, even against that large sizing. Thinking, oh well, I've got 30% against anything but aces. Let's go. Ooh. Danger flop here for Sam, as he is probably going to try and represent this, and he's got that backdoor club draw as well. Lucian might be clinging on for dear life here for at least one street, possibly two with the Ace 4. Sam goes for 125, down bets to third pot, and gets snapped off. Interesting to note, his opponent didn't even consider a raise there, so that's always something to watch out for. And is he going to triple it here? I think that means, with the money behind there, that means that is in play. He's going to have all of the Ace King, Ace Queen. His opponent called so quickly on the flop, you can possibly discount Ace Jack in your opponent's range here. But he does elect to check, and Lucian here can't really do an awful lot. I mean, he shouldn't think that his opponent bets kings or queens on the flop. So I don't think a bet would make too much sense, as Sam could certainly check some hands like Ace 10 suited or even Ace 9 suited or something that he'd elected to 4-bet pre. You think he jams? Yeah, it looks like he is going for a bet here. Not sure I'm on board with this. 225, and Sam there kind of giving the game away with that laugh. Can't do much now. 225 he bet. Shows the 4 of spades. You're not fooling anyone, pal. You're not with the Queen 6, not going to be playing that. What ace will check there? He got snapped on the flop. I mean, Ace Queen and Ace King, I think you can work in some checks on the turn to balance your turn checking range, which is going to be quite difficult to balance otherwise if you're always betting your Ace King, Ace Queens. So Lucian with the ace-8 suited, popping it up to 15 in the hijack, very standard open with pretty much just any suited ace here, and ace-10 plus. Your suited Broadway, some connectors. Miriam here has the ace-jack, has him pipped. Going to be 3-betting to 50 in the cutoff, and let's see if he continues here. He's been relatively splashy pre-flop so far, but yeah, just elects to let it go. Can certainly work in some 4-bets there. Folding is okay, and calling I think would probably be one of the worst options, just because it's going to be pretty difficult to dice up how many times you're going to be calling a 3-bet out of position with the suited ace. Are they playing the 7 deuce game? Blonde on TV says, no, I don't think so. It did absolute wonders in Bratislava when we did have the 7 deuce game on. Like people who were, one guy who was playing completely no hands, just out of the blue, just cold 4-bets the deuce 7. No one saw it coming, and the whole table erupted into carnage after that one. Yeah, it should be a rule for the hold'em. Make it super hold'em or something like that. Makes it a bit more fun. I agree with you very much, Buratino. I'm always up for getting more action going on the table, of course. Although this game has been pretty splashy so far. I'm really enjoying it. So Lucian popping it up with the king-queen. Enea, who's been a bit random pre-flop. Looks like he's interested. Might just be a player that just bases his hand selection off of whether he fancies it or not. Might fancy it with the 10-8 this time. Yeah, he does. 55 to go with the 10-8 off. So, good action, that's for sure. Lucian here versus deciding to fold the ace-8 suited, but is versus a slightly more aggressive opponent deciding to continue with the king-queen. Jack 6-6, probably going to be a bet and a take it from Enea, who has the pre-flop betting lead. Flops himself a backdoor flush draw with some backdoor straight draw equity as well. Lucian with the queen of diamonds out of position with 2 overcards could come along for a small size. I think versus 75 though we have to fold. It's not really getting that great a price. And yeah, does let it go. So Enea taking it down there with the 10 high. Absolute boss. Looks like we've been joined by a good pal of mine, Big Bold Rob, or Big Bad Rob, whatever you want to call him. Absolute lunatic. We've had a hell of some really good nights playing on the sesh, just the lot basically. How are you doing, mate? Feel free to get in the chat and let us know of your thoughts. Some decent splashy 2-5 action going on here. So 15 under the gun, pretty standard open with the ace-jack. I think in terms of the bottom of your opening range, you can have some ace-10 off in there sometimes, but I'd probably, as a marker in an aggressive table, just fold ace-10 and open ace-jack myself. Lucian coming along with pocket 4s, definitely on the wider side pre-flop. Don't want to get into the habit of just calling every early position open with low pairs, just because, especially at 200 big blinds, there are some reverse implied odds that come into the mix. What I mean by that is that when you do flop sets 200 big blinds deep and plus and get it in, you can be up against better sets sometimes when you're getting the action. Just in general, it's been a fairly squeeze-heavy table, so you can definitely just let it go. However, 3 ways to a flop: king, 10, 7s and 4s, and top set for Lucien. Sam's probably going to be able to get away, but Jonat will definitely be firing a continuation bet here. Looks like he's bet 100. Surely not. 75, so Lucien there, Snap looking at the pot, Snap asking how much it is. Not really signs of a player that's disinterested, that's for sure. Has 1.1k, so does cover both of the players left. Obviously Sam's got no piece of it, he's going to be out. And Jonat here with a pretty tricky spot with an overpair on a low connected board. You can definitely talk yourself into giving your opponent a lot of hands like ace-x of clubs, king-queen of clubs, jack-10 of clubs. All of those hands seem much more likely than him having v-pipped from an under the gun +1 with a set here. So a raise to 325, a very meaty sizing as well, and Lucien just saying, not really setting up a natural sizing on the turn. And Jonat's done well there to get away to just 1 bet. Baby S says, let's go Con. Let's go indeed, Mr. Oldroyd from the UK, sat in seat 1. Had a couple of tough spots so far, not really been able to get in the mix too much. But he's a good player and I'm sure he'll bounce back. Pops it up. Does Jonat in the cutoff with ace-3 off. A little bit too wide for my liking. I'd probably be folding ace-6, ace-2, ace-3 offsuit. Ace-7 possibly. Ace-7 might be a raise actually as you flop a few more top pairs. But regardless, does flop himself a gut shot here with an overcard and some backdoor diamonds. The 2 on the turn, you know, having check bet the flop, he certainly limits his options for being able to represent much on turn cards like this. Very unlikely to be checking back overpairs or any kind of high equity hands like flush draws. Bleo here has bet the turn for 25 and looks like he's gone for a rather meaty sizing there on the river. Oh no, 30, sorry, just one of each. And a raise from Jonat now. Not really too sure what he's representing here. Having checked back the flop. I mean, he could potentially raise a hand like ace-jack that checks back, I guess. It's a little bit odd because your opponent has more deuces, obviously, than you do, having defend. Oh no, he's in the small blind, my bad. But it does indeed work this time, and Bleo, who's probably going for some thin value there, does get away. He will indeed be more than fine. Robbo92 just says sesh. Are you on the sesh yourself, or are you having a quiet night in? What's going on over there, pal? 5 on the river, ace-2. Could be ace-2. I'd very well. He folded the river, of course, so it's not. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he's got there. When is G-Man playing? A little bit later on, pal. Play a bit of PLO or something like that. I was playing some open-faced Chinese pineapple earlier, which was good fun. I'd never played that game live before. So here we go. Myron opening up with the jacks. King Jack in the hijack for Yona, who's been playing a lot of hands, and Lucian looks down at King Queen, electing to just peel. Can certainly go either way. And a bit of a coolerish flop here as Lucian and Yona both flop top pair. And checks round somehow. Lucian now electing to lead. I like this as a decision. The 4 is unlikely to have improved anyone unless they have exactly pocket 4s. Potentially 5-4 suited, but it would be on the wider side from both players. And gets a peel out of Myron and Yonut. So the river is a queen. And a great card for Lucian. Improves to top 2. Clear value bet, of course. 122 in the pot. Looks like he's gone for a sizing of about half pot. Just going for the crying call from hands like Queen X, Queen 10, Queen Jack. Potentially be in there. Worse kings, of course. King Jack, King 10. Maybe even if he's lucky, a hand like Queen 9. And Yonut pays it off. So that one will go to Lucian, who's had a bit of a resurgence, flopping top set and now taking down a medium-sized pot there as well.
Good luck.
So just got some information on the tournament schedule that I've been talking about this week. Here in conjunction with the NetBet Open, we are running some cash game streams for you guys. However, there's a €330 100k guaranteed tournament, and that starts tomorrow. So day 1A tomorrow. You can get yourselves through until Friday playing the 1As. 100k guaranteed. We're going to be streaming the final table on Sunday. I'm going to be doing some commentary for that. Looking forward to that. There's a pot limit Omaha, €115 tournament tomorrow. And at the moment running is the high roller, €660 buy-in. Looks like we've got a big pot on the outer table.
Four call.
Risto calling a raise from the button with King Deuce off. I don't think that's the case. No, yeah, he is out of the hand, as you can see in seat 3 there. Lucian is called from the small blind by the looks of things. And it's an ace on the turn, certainly going to be favouring the opener's range. Let's go Con with the hammers emoji. Good to have you, Billy. Thanks for joining. Baby S, Connor representing East London. Yeah, he's a bit of a cockney wide boy geezer, isn't he? Up the apples and pears. He's a good friend of mine, an absolute chancer is Con. Got a few beers here, but looking at flights to come over. That would be excellent, mate. I could definitely set you up with a place to crash if you do want to come over, Rob. Don't know how cheap it's going to be though from Scandinavia over here, other side of Europe, really, isn't it? Good stuff, baby S. Yeah, he's a lovely chap. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sure he'll be grateful for the support. I saw he put up a post on Facebook, so I'm guessing that's where you joined us from. 15 to go. Looks like we do have our very own man in the mix in this pot. It's been 3-bet by seat 3 there. So Queen 10 off for Connor. On the wider side of things from Under the Gun 2, especially on an action-heavy table. But possibly a little bit frustrated that he's not been able to get in too many hands. Wow, and a cold call from Inea now. With 3 deuce of diamonds. Really likes those suited connectors, doesn't he? Just cold calling the 3-bet there, out of position, doesn't matter. And flops absolutely nothing. King 5-8, rainbow. It's going to definitely be a bet, a C-bet, and probably going to take this one down. Thank you, Billy, mate. Really appreciate that. So how long is part of the European leg on for? What, for the Cash Game Festival, Rob? Well, this is the last stop of 2019. I'm sure next year a good one for you would be Tallinn in Estonia, quite close to you. Really nice accommodation there at the Hilton as well. Very enjoyable. So Risto does indeed take that one down with a C-bet and rewards himself with a nice little cold swig of beer. Why not? Like to see some drinking at the table, but doesn't look like anyone's getting too out of line. We'll see how that develops as the night progresses. Definitely see some sloppy faces in here towards 4-5 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I'm hoping that next time will happen. I mean, I don't really call the shots. I just talk shit and you know, try and sort of make a feeble hack at what to guess what's going on in everyone's heads. Con on the old sweat patches. I think he's been given a bit of chat from his mates. They were looking rather fruity. So Risto, King 5 suited, not going to be playing that one. Lucian with the 8s is going to come in for a call, hoping to find another set. Miron, Jack 7 of hearts. Hasn't really had too much to play with, so that might be factoring in, you know, the reason that he's going to come along. Just sort of desperate to play hands. It can be quite frustrating, especially as they only do get the 2-hour window on the live stream to play some pots if you're just getting dealt the absolute Raz every hand. Makes things difficult, and Inea coming in for the 3-bet squeeze from the small blind with 7-6 suited. Really like this. Pumping the pressure on, and might get a call out of Lucian here, as they are pretty deep stacked. Lucian has position and some decent implied odds if he is to hit an 8. Yeah, sure. Grab yourself a chair, mate. Get one of the comfy ones. That would be horrible. Interesting board here, as Lucian's set would improve Inea to the straight, but he's definitely going to have a couple of barrels at this with the 7-6. Obviously, he's going to have all of the overpairs in his... Oh, he does check. I'm not sure about that. If you are going to squeeze with the 7-6 and flop a gut shot, definitely want to be putting some money in. Unless he goes for a check raise, which would be a bit fruity. 105 is the bet from Lucian there, or 125 I should say. The reason for this bet, it's kind of on the larger side, but he wants some protection from his hand versus 2 overcards. Just electing to check call here, and we are joined by Sam. Ooh, that's a fruity looking turn card in there, improving to a pair. Lucian now with the 8s with the spade. And because he bets so large, his opponent isn't really going to be continuing with that many worse hands. I know he is in this particular scenario. But I think a protection bet, a slightly smaller Sam would have been a little bit better on the flop. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I think definitely agree. If you're going to put in a 3-bet with a 6-7 in the small blind here, that's like the perfect board really
to barrel off. Yeah, it's a bit of a fruity hand, and
I definitely don't like check calling.
No, unless he's going to jam the turn.
Yeah.
Which would be absolutely spicy. Doesn't look like it's happening. Lucian betting 265, I think once again for value, potentially thinking that his opponent could check call a hand like ace-king with the spade on the flop or something like that could get some value from. and lets it go. So Lucien there getting the job done with the 2-8s. Is he going to show the 8 of diamonds? Does he think he's bluffing? Not really sure what's going on.
Yeah, when you showed the 4 of spades to me, I was like, okay, so you might as well just show me your actual hand.
Yeah,
is the other one ever not the ace of spades?
Yeah, exactly. Especially when he calls like a massive 4-bet in position.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I gave him some stick for that in the thing. I was like, come on, mate, you're not fooling anyone with that.
Yeah. Oh, was it the 4-5 off, was it? Oh, well played.
I'm just going to grab a drink, mate. Do you want anything?
Coffee, please.
Coffee, yeah.
Milk, 2 sugars.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, Inea limps the button here. He did just put in a 25 chip. I'm not sure if he was meant to raise. But as played, it is a limp, and I fold for the extra 3 because I'm a nit, and the big blind checks. We see a flop. Jonut in the big blind takes the lead with the 7, and it goes check check. Jonut checks again. I think I'd like to see a bet here. Try and get called by hands like this ace high. It goes check check again, and the 7's just going to win.
Alright, what have I missed?
Pretty interesting one.
Yep.
Inea just sort of limped on the button, but he put in a 25. But he didn't say raise or anything, and he didn't seem surprised when the dealer just said call, so I guess he was meant to just limp.
Okay.
But he limped the button with ace queen, and then just checks it down with a big blind and loses.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot of pots.
Yeah.
So Lucien with the King 9 of clubs popping it up, fairly standard stuff, and they're once again in the mix with 9-8, absolutely loves it. And Connor on the wider side here, but I think he just wants to play pots with an air because his air is playing a lot of hands. And flops the best of it, which is a change for Connor. He's sort of, you and him were up against it a little bit, weren't you?
Yeah.
We need to change that night bot. Just to swap for a second. As those chips are wrong, unfortunately. I'll leave you in the capable hands of Sam.
And Lucien finds the king on the river to take the lead. And do I see a bet there?
So Connor folded the flop. Oh no, he's still in the hand.
The graphics have just gone absolutely all over the
Yeah,
gaff.
they are a little bit temperamental today. I do apologise for that, guys.
I do remember this hand though, so he bets, and here we go, we're back. Yeah, there we go. So Lucien, I don't think it was 55.
Right.
We're back on the turn.
Yeah, no idea what's going on here.
Yeah, Connor pays him off with the ace.
Thank you. So a miracle king on the river there for Lucien. Cheers. Okay, guys, so that should be working now. The streams are 2 hours apiece these days, pal. And we start Wednesday and Thursday. The new schedule is that we go Wednesday to Sunday now, with usually a tournament on Sunday, Wednesday to Thursday, 2 streams. Friday and Saturday have 3 streams. So I've just updated the chips there. the €1 chips are blue, and greens are 25, reds are 5, and the blacks there you can see at the bottom of Sam's stack are 100. No, that's only reserved for Tallinn, I guess. My God, how sexy those 500 chips are in Tallinn.
Are they like bigger than the other chips?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I like it when
They look really nice.
Yeah.
They are yellow, if I remember correctly, but they've got like a sort of like fluorescent, not fluorescent, like reflective thing in the middle. They look really good.
And S2 is good here.
Yeah, 500 is yellow. The 1Ks, I can't remember how big they are. What the 1Ks? Whites. And even the blacks, the 100s are really nice. Oh yeah, the bricks. Jesus, how high have you been playing Buratino? I didn't see any bricks when I was there. I was lucky to get my hands on a couple of yellows. So pretty decent, I'd say, for a 2-5 game that is on stream, where people do tend to tighten up a little bit. Definitely some action players there. It's not the best of seats. Not the best of seats for you. I'm guessing that's why you've left. No spoilers, please. But
yeah, no spoilers.
You are sort of caught in the middle of the action there a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of the time as well. So I was wanting to play pots with an air, since he's, like you say, he's playing a lot of hands.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a bit of a problem because when he was in the big blind, it was on my end of the gun. It was like a couple of them that were sort of close decisions, like the ace jack I opened early on and the king queen, where in some compositions I would fold there. Yeah, kind of opened myself up to getting 3-betting a lot and then having to defend it with the 4-bet, and then we saw how that went.
Yeah. Just not great spots for you. Connor showing a lot of situational awareness, realising that Jona has been playing so many hands and that potentially he could go for a bet here with the go for a 3-bet with the Jack 9. Definitely too wide of a call. Surely he's not checking back the turn. Got to start betting at some point now. Yeah, I knew he wouldn't be checking back the turn, and wants to start applying pressure to some of the weaker hands like 10x, queens, low pocket pairs. Get them to fold with the delayed c-bet. And I like that because a lot of the times people on those kind of boards just have a weak ace and win the delayed c-betting range. So Connor understanding that he's going to still get a lot of credit if he does go for the delayed c-bet. And also you can get some information on your opponent's range, whether or not they bet the turn. I think one of the most defended lines in live poker is the double check on the flop and the turn. People really struggle to have anything in that range when they do that.
That's a good insight, yeah, I would agree with that.
It's just that no one ever has anything when they check the flop and check the turn after the flop's checked back.
Do you think he might have been able to have a 10 there? That's probably, like you say, that's probably the only thing that's checking and maybe calling is like a 10.
Maybe a hand like King 10 suited or something like that.
Jack 10.
Yeah. $25K chips are the highest in Hilton. What's the biggest game you've seen on at the Hilton, Buratino? I was playing in some pretty big Omaha games there, but I think that they were 25-25 maybe, or some big ones that were on action from time to time. Did you have the Patrick Antonius challenge there? That would have been a big game. So Queen 7 from Inea once again, not really backing down from these opens, is he? Bristow just electing to call from the small blind.
With a very nice 3-betting hand.
Yeah, the nice 3-betting hand, but I guess he does just want to play more hands versus the opponent.
Yeah, I guess so.
And there it looks like he's c-bet 10.
Yep.
Well, that's probably going to get the job done here.
Oh no, this was his change from pre-flop.
All right. Flopped himself a gut shot. Come get some ace highs to fold. And gets it through there. Nothing that Risto can really do on that board. Not a heart or any kind of backdoor equity in sight. And this Blue guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, in seat 2 was absolutely running the show, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Just every hand he had
Just
the
the first
absolute
half an
lot.
hour, he just had a set minimum every flop.
I know, it's incredible.
Yeah, I think whoever was in that seat was going to clean up today.
Yeah.
But he has played very well. I look so miserable. Has one losing session.
Get your head in the game, boy.
Absolutely sick of my life.
Yeah. Don't know about you, but I'm not going to be playing a long session tonight. I'm just knackered.
Absolutely going to bed, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Not sure what Anea's thinking about here with the 6-9 off.
I don't know, stranger things have happened from him, that's for sure. Maybe he just thought, fuck it, let's raise it up, see what happens. I could always turn a 7 or an 8.
This next hand's a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, spoiler alert, big hand coming up.
Yeah.
Let's see how he gets on. Kongan 1981 just says, free roll? No free rolls as of yet, unless, do you have a Pokio account? We can definitely sort you out with something on there if you do.
It's the one after this.
It's one after this, okay. It's going to say the 16th off.
Just decided to get a bit fruity.
So you get yourself signed up for our Pokio online club. It's an app. We launched our partnership with Pokio actually 2 stops ago in Sunny Beach. It's an online app that offers 24/7 games, anything you want. Pineapple, Omaha 5-card, high-low, whatever you want, we can sort it out on there. And as a thank you for signing up and joining the club, which is quite a bustling community on there with a lot of action, we will give you 4 times 25 euros to be given away at the end of the stream. Unfortunately, you can't sign up in the UK, which is certainly a bit of definitely shit on my parade a little bit, but never mind. Would have loved to get in the 5-card streets.
So throughout the whole of this session, I've not been looking at my cards mostly until it was my turn. As we talked about, I've been studying live tells on the plane on the way here.
So you've been looking at your opponents?
So yeah, if you watch me here, I'm watching all my opponents, looking at their cards and all that kind of thing. So it's only like a small thing, I think, but it could potentially give you a little bit extra information.
Definitely
when
generates...
people's cards down but pre-flop, they're not like the pot's not big yet and stuff.
That's true.
They're not trying to think about covering tells.
That's true. Very good point. And certainly, if you know, I mean, that can only help your win rate. I don't think it can hinder it.
Exactly. So an A in the small blind here picks up King Jack and just makes it 30.
Right, okay, big size.
Yeah, so I'm like not sure what that's about. So I now look at my cards.
Yeah.
That was my shock at the sizing.
Oh, right, okay.
And I have aces.
Yeah. So you haven't looked at your cards at this point?
I think I now have. It must have just missed it on the camera. I did it as he's raising. So at this point I'm thinking, is he just doing this with something like Ace King, maybe Kings, Queens, and decide to raise to 100? I think he's definitely going nowhere for that size if he's going to make it 6x pre-flop. And he quickly calls. So we have a £200 pot in the blinds.
€200.
And there it is.
King Jack 7 for an Aya. Flops the absolute lot. Sam has, still some chance with clubs, backdoor clubs, a 7, an ace, maybe a backdoor queen 10.
So I actually think this is quite a good flop for me. As I said, its sizing looks like it could be something like kings, but I think there's a lot more ace king off.
Yeah.
So he then just leads 210, 220 over pot and off my 500 stack.
It's going in.
Yeah, I decided to just send it in.
Yeah, I think
he then doesn't actually snap call, and I'm like, I must be winning.
Yeah, I think Ace King is a push. I think he'd probably just try and get that in pre, but he can definitely have King Queen, King 10.
Yeah, I mean, if he's got King Jack, he
random
King
Jack
Queen.
X of clubs. Yeah. Usually the person that asks is hoping for more than one.
Yeah.
So it's a 3, so we need an ace, 7 or a 3. We don't get it on the first board. Let's pray for a...
Brikovic.
Yeah, Brikovic. And it's a 4, so 7, 4 or an ace to get him out of jail. And it's Brikovic. Unfortunately. Sorry, bros. Nothing I can do, pal. They need to apply for the license there. That's Pokio's realm. And Sam didn't want to jump back in the game there?
Nah.
No. Didn't fancy it, or just not really?
Probably tilting now.
Yeah.
Yeah, head's gone.
What were you in for there?
1,000.
1,000. Yeah. And what are you out for?
0.
Sorry.
Thank you, George.
Sorry, I had to go for a dig there.
Just pull that needle out my arm.
Poker in Bucharest. Thanks very much for joining. Non-stop cash action, absolutely. Get yourselves down here, guys. And the room is filling out nicely, actually. I can see at least 5 to 6 tables of cash running.
One raise, 15.
So Connor, we haven't seen much from him. He's not really been able to play too many pots. Coming in for a race to 15. So the British contingent, unfortunately, not getting the best of it out here so far.
Absolutely
I'm down,
not.
Connor's down, and you're down. So let's hope that improves as the week develops. And again, he's got himself another shitty spot here with the King Queen, and let's hope that he doesn't go for the 4-bet, which is kind of going to be quite tempting the way he's running.
Yeah.
Myron hasn't been one of the more out-of-line players.
And he's off the short stack here as well.
Yeah, and he's off the short stack, so I don't think Connor wants to be stacking off here. I think people tend to under-squeeze when they are short. Most of the time they're just... Oh, is he called?
Yeah.
Oh, he's called. That's a bit wide. Let's hope we can find a queen for the con dog.
Maybe signs of a little bit of tilt creeping in there, you think?
Maybe. Maybe it's just like he can't seem to find a decent spot. Based on what we said though, €420 stack there, 3-betting, tends to be weighted towards I'm just trying to commit as much of my stack as possible as opposed to, I'm going to try a...
You're not often going to have fold equity post flop.
No, exactly. Especially in this lineup, full of absolute weapons. So Bleo here is an interesting spot for him because he still can have a lot of strong hands in his range. Like aces and kings that he's elected to flat instead of 3-bet, but doesn't this time, and Lucien gets out the way with the pocket 2s, not hunting for that bottom set on the flop. So we need a queen, and we need a queen fast for our man Connor. That's a king. That's a disaster for him.
It's a very bad fall.
And the money's going in here. We got a 1.5 SPR, 1.75 sorry SPR.
Certainly not ideal.
Yeah.
Is he thinking about leading here?
Thanks very much, Poker Room Bucharest, for that information. So every hour you play in the cash game tables, you receive a ticket for Friday and the chance to win €1,500 package to the next cash game festival, which is going to be in 2020. Oh well, so it's gone check on the flop. So Connor's going to think he's got the best hand here almost always, as it's kind of an unlikely board to want to trap because it's so wet and so well coordinated with both ranges. Bit of a weird play from here from Miron.
Yeah, after short stack,
Yeah, very
I think
weird.
you'd want to just protect your hand here.
Yeah, not
like if the turn's a
sure.
10 or a queen, it's kind of a disaster.
I guess he does have that ace of diamonds in there. And Connor now thinking he's got the best hand, wants to size up, try and protect. So he's gone for about half pot, targeting hands like tens, queens, some ace jack.
Presumably Miron's just going to move all in here.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
he's
so.
not. He's keeping trappy line.
Playing this like a bit of a weirdo, isn't he? It's a
And
5.
he's got a great run out, so he should be able to get all the money now.
Yeah. See if Connor shoves it in for value here. It looks like he had a bit more than 229 behind.
Needs more like 400 or 500.
Okay. Oh, he had 1K. He's got 1K behind his Miron. I like the check from Connor. Don't think we're going to get 2 streets here from the hands that we were targeting on the turn. So turning our hand into a. Is that? Oh, I thought he's just snap check back there. I was thinking, what the hell is going on?
Surely there'll be a bet here. It looks like it looks like what 4 black chips there. It's 400.
At least 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Started the hand with 1,000 by the sounds of things. Oh, and he's got a little bit more in his hand.
And he's gone for a small bet. Looks like it's gonna be tough to get away
It's
from
another
this from
tough
Connor.
spot for our man Connor.
Yeah.
155.
Probably just have to pay this.
Getting the absolute cheese grater out. Yeah, and these are the worst spots where you're just
you're
like,
just like,
I'm
oh,
pretty
I'm
sure I've
just
got to
always
pay,
losing.
but like, when have I ever seen a worse hand here?
Yeah. He's not bluffing.
Based
for
on the
150.
line as well, it's just a weird hand.
Yeah.
Like, how's he got jacks or nines here? How's he got ace king? Why are those not being bet on the flop? Then you're thinking maybe he's going for some razor thin value with a hand like king 10.
Yeah. I mean that's the kind of sizing you would go with.
Yeah. Exactly.
You just can't work it out. Look, like, why would you not bet? a
Yeah,
good
I mean,
hand?
I'm struggling to work it out. And I can see the guy's cards.
Impressive if he gets away with this, but I don't think he's gonna.
Yeah, I very much doubt it. Just based on the price, you only need to be right. What, one in 4 times?
Yeah. Top pair, second best kicker.
155 into what would be 725. Yeah, it's like
It's rough.
5 and a bit to 1.
And was that the call? It was.
Yeah, and a reluctant call there.
Keep it
He
is.
does get shown the ace king. And he's just thinking, of course he's got
Of course.
it. But how? Still, but how?
Yeah.
Don't I? You are what you eat. Oh, I like that he thinks about it too. I think a lot of people just snap it in for that that price. When's the PLO
So
stream?
hard.
You missed it, pal. It was earlier on. We had 2, 2, 4, 5 card. Let's have a look at the schedule for the week. I will let you guys know what's happening. So, and do, by the way, guys, download the Cash Game Festival app, which is on Android Google phone, iPhone, whatever you want. So the program is obviously the 2-5 game at the moment. We've got TV table 4-5 card Omaha tomorrow, followed by it's the same lineup again tomorrow by the looks of it. 4-5-2-2 followed by 2-5 Hold'em. On Friday we've got 4-5-2-2 followed by short deck 2 Euro ante followed by 2-5 Hold'em. And on the weekend we've got 1-3 Texas on Saturday, followed by 5 card 5-5, the 5-5 game. And Sveten Special Drawmaha will be the last feature table. Oh, and we're also going to have some stuff going on Sunday as well, a Texas and a 4-5, but they won't be part of the Cash Game Festival trophy ceremony, which will be on Sunday. So some decent activities across the week as well. Looks like some 9-ball pool tomorrow.
Really?
Yep.
You any good?
Yeah, they do like a tournament and free drinks and like food and that.
Really?
So we meet up here at 3:45. So if you are around, come for that. Come for that, mate.
Pool?
Yeah. 2 hours of pool, bowling, and a lot of fun.
Nice.
It's included in the VIP package, but I think we can just sort of chance it.
Yeah, we'll give it.
Yeah.
Absolutely wasted my childhood on a pool table.
Epic clubbing at Face Bucharest. Experience one of the best nightclubs in Romania.
Really?
The Face. Don't miss this epic club session. Wow, okay. Cash Game Festival, we like to call it. We definitely should do a YouTube vlog of Cash Game Festival after dark.
Yeah.
There'd be some great footage on there, especially from our night the other night.
Oh, Christ.
Is there like a dark version of YouTube? Here we go. Connor's won a pot. Let's go.
Hey! He doesn't look happy still.
The only other pot you won where you had to 3-bet with Jack 9 off, wasn't it?
What do you have?
The Raz, King Jack. Oh no,
No,
what, against
7-8
you?
suited.
7-8 suited, yeah. Just burgers.
You were ahead.
Yeah.
I know it.
Valley bet.
Oh, fuck. I thought we were chatting amongst ourselves.
No. We're just having a bit of banter, aren't we? Yeah.
Put the show on here. Oh, look at my sad empty seat. Wah, wah, wah.
Non, je ne regrette rien. Get the violin out. So Lucien, Queen 4 suited under the gun. That's going to be a fold. Miron, who sort of seems to make it up as he goes along, deciding to fold this time in an air. The danger man is in seat 6. Opening it up to what, 15 or 20? 20.
It's 55 probably.
Here we go. Good spot for
Go
Connor.
on, Connor.
Go on, Con.
Get him.
Definitely going to be 3-betting. This guy's a bit of a lunatic, so want to be definitely going on the wider side. I think it's just a standard 3-bet button versus hijack anyway. And I think against this player we can go quite big. I think 80 is reasonable. 65, yeah, anything over 3x is generally going to be working as well. We are a fair bit deeper than 100 bigs though, so I'd probably go 75 or 80 here. Just because I think this opponent in particular is going to have an inelastic calling range, and what I mean by that is he's not really going to be sensitive to the price that's offered, he's just going to take it. And,
That's what you want to see.
That's just, yeah, car crash with a flop for Connor.
Yeah.
Does still have the best hand, which is nice. Shouldn't be any leading on this board from your opponent. You don't really have kings or queens. I mean, you could have queens, not wanting to 4-bet get it in for 150 bigs, but unlikely. Connor can have an option to go continue with like a range bet size here,
Yeah,
but
30%.
for third pot. But yeah, I don't mind a check either. If he is going to be prepared to call a bet on the turn, which is probably going to be coming quite a lot. And I mean, this guy's range is so wide, we don't have a heart in our hand. I think we can definitely call one. See what the sizing is. Bet's 80, which is a smidgen over half pot. I mean, what's he representing here? King Jack, King 10, we blocked that. So it's king queen, pocket fours or pocket sevens really a lot of the time. You know, if we consider, I think this player's quite active, he's going to 4-bet his queens, kings. Does let it go.
They're in the bin.
And I mean, it's not an easy spot, is it? Was quite a large sizing as well. And it's obviously easy for me to say that as the commentator because we get access to the whole card information. But
It does make it easier.
It does, indeed. Buratino says, why isn't Sam in the mix? He went broke, now begging money at Spain. Not sure what you mean by Spain there. Huevos Rancheros, is that a mate of yours?
Nope. Not that I know of.
Great name. Is a huevo an egg? Is that right?
What?
Is huevo an egg?
Huevo's an egg, yeah.
Yeah. What's a rancheros?
Rancheros?
Is it like
It's a cowboy, isn't it?
Is it?
egg cowboy?
Eggy cowboy, is he?
An eggy cowboy, yeah. Must be.
That is a cracking name.
No, rancher, rancheros. Makes sense, you know.
Oh right, you've just had an absolute spin of a guess, have you? So ace-6 of Diamondes, popping it up, gonna get a 3-bet out the small call. Okay, and Lucian. Not sure about having calls in there. Lucian.
Like you say, I have A6.
Huh?
A6.
Ace-6?
Yes. He told me I have A6.
Oh, you liar.
That's a really common thing, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
Ace 8
yeah.
isn't much better than Ace 6, but
I
people
mean,
always like notch it down a
I'm
bit.
guessing it'll be different on the board.
I guess.
He two pairs.
Ah, okay.
It's a Latin American dish, also slang for nuts. Okay, fair enough. So 75 is the 3-bet sizing here from Lucian in the big blind. I like it. Yona is a particularly sticky character. And Risto as well comes along for the ride 3 ways. So interesting pre-flop decisions here. Hey! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Top set. One of your opponents has a backdoor flush draw, the other one has a gut shot. So we're completely blocking everything on this board, and it's such a dry board, I think we can just take one off.
Oh, nice.
Wow, what an action turn card. Risto now with a combo draw, gut shot and a flush draw. Lucian loves to see that ace because he's never up against aces here with the pre-flop action going the way it has. Yonat now has top pair, so he's going to come along for at least one of these bets. Does. And Risto, I mean, what's he going to do with the 10-9 here? Does he? There's no check jamming, is there? Because his opponent is going to have a lot of aces and
Yeah.
ace king, ace queen, ace. Well, ace queen probably bets.
Potentially getting the right price with the implied odds.
Oh yeah, I think we're at least
I
calling.
think call, yeah.
I'm just saying, do we ever work in a check raise here? I don't think we're representing an awful lot.
No.
Apart from 3s and 8s.
Yeah. But you check twice as well.
Yeah, exactly. On a board where you're gonna get a lot of calls for a bigger sizing. So
Yeah.
does come along for the ride. King on the river. It's not going to be Lucian's favourite card, but he's going to commit the stack, of course. Targeting some aces. Risto has bricked his combo draw, so no more money in the pot from him. And Yonat now mulling it over with just the top pair. Is aware of the fact that Lucian's going to have some ace king. He's going to have some potentially hands like ace queen as well that he didn't bet on the flop. Sometimes a slow played set. Oh wow! Called it off with the ace-6.
Pop, pop.
And well. Just deciding, yeah, he's got missed hearts. Jack-9, I guess he beats. 10-9 of hearts. Not a lot. I'm trying to think what's a bluff there that we beat with the ace-6. Yeah, there's like 2 of them. That jam is kind of weird. Very peculiar action here. When did I say that? When you defended with the ace-4 off? Oh yeah. It's not great multi-way, but I see why he's done it. Yeah. Missed the action, just saw he jammed, was like, why? The turns check round, he's bet the... the flops check round, he's bet the turn. Flop stop set on a driest board ever. Turns check round, turn he's bet, being called by a guy who shouldn't have much Jack 10, I guess. I mean, one of them could definitely have Jack 10. But what's the stack to pot ratio on the river there, Sam? Yeah,
so Jonah had about half pot.
Yeah.
But the guy with the 9-10 suited had about pot.
Yeah.
Just over, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, less than pot. I think we got to pile it in with the queens there. I mean, what are we jamming if we're not jamming queens?
Yeah.
Queens is a better jam than aces because at least you're unblocking the top pair. Yeah. Kind of stuff. So Connor here, nice board to go for a couple of streets of barrels. Elects to check back. We've seen him use this strategy a couple of times. Does tend to go for a delayed c-bet. I think he is going to have the best hand here the majority of the time on this turn card, so can definitely go for a smaller size, something like 10 or 15, just to try and keep in like some Jack X, 6X, something like that. Yeah, bets 15. Like to see it.
What was Blue in for?
Blue was in for 1k. He's the guy that was on the absolute heater at the start.
I'm just thinking about the trophy.
Yeah.
Most big blinds ones, he's already got quite a lot there.
That 250 bigs he's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. 250 bigs. That's a decent effort in a Hold'em game. Only playing for 2 hours. It's going to be tough to beat.
Certainly not bad.
So Connor under the gun here with the ace-9. He's going to be out of there. No?
Six-handed.
Oh, six-handed now. Yep, opening it up.
Slightly loosey-goosey peel, if I saw that right.
With the 3-2. Coming along for the absolute ride. And Miron here in the small blind doesn't even want to 3-bet the ace-queen six-handed. Of course, Enea taking the lead with the mighty 3 deuce.
Kind of want to see the 3 deuce win this hand, sorry Connor.
Connor electing to check. I think it's a board that we can continue on. We've got a lot of the ace king, king queens, a lot of the better hands that our opponents can't have. Obviously, an overpair as well that our opponents don't have. Backdoor spades as well. Don't know. It's a mix. Definitely betting heads up. Multi-way it might be a bit different. So what's going on here? Miron has led with the ace queen on the turn, picking up a backdoor clubs. 6 of spades on the river. Just going to check, and the mighty 3 deuce is going to take it down.
He's betting.
He's going for that razor thin value. he's got a missed nut flush draw. He's going to pay me off. Well, this is absolute wizardry from an air here on the river. Don't know what the purpose of the bet was, but it was a bet, so gets it done. Lucian and Bleo, the big winners. Enea's not doing too badly. Definitely much more an orthodox style. So, Leo's scanner not working, and hopefully we're going to be able to get that sorted throughout the week. As I do want to see what everyone's dealing with, especially in 5-card Omaha. So 3 deuce on the button folds, Enea with the mighty 5-4.
That'll be getting played presumably.
Bit of a downgrade from the 3-2, but he's not playing this, but come along for the ride, and Connor's happy to take down the €2 there. No rake. How long would this 2-5 run? Well, it's a 2-hour stream. I don't know how long we're into it now.
About another 10 more minutes.
Two more hands.
I think it's 2 more hands.
Okay.
Ah, okay. 2 hands. We've got 2 blind hands here. Pretty difficult to commentate on. JBuck 95 in the chat, Connor.
Come on, Con.
Wishing you a little bit of support. Do you know who that is?
JBuck 95.
Ginger short ass, yeah. Good lad, though.
Good lad.
Friend of mine. Come on, Con, as soon as I've left the table.
Their heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
First time we've seen Blue in a tough spot here. No idea what it is, but he seems to be struggling with it.
Oh,
So we can't see either of the hands.
Yep, can't see either of the hands here. So let's think about range-wise. He's triple-barreled here. You know, he's going to have some hands like Ace-Jack, Queens plus. What are his bluffs? He could definitely have Queen-9 as well that got there on the river.
Yeah.
There are going to be some missed spades. Some hands like Ace-Queen, Ace-King of spades that you might go for 3 with.
I think you would potentially do this with something like Ace-Jack.
Yeah.
And he finds the fold.
Gets the fold there from Leo. Same 9466 and your hammers. He's saying 9466. What's that? Come on, you irons, says JBuck, and so does Billy 9466. Oh yeah, sorry, Billy 9466. Good to see the support from Buck.
What's hashtag COYI?
Come on, you irons.
Ah, okay.
So Maurits, who usually when he's here, that signifies the end of the stream. Thanks very much for joining us, guys, here on day 1 of Cash Game Festival Bucharest. there's our man himself, Connor, signing out. Sam, any last words?
Aces are a bad hand.
They're not getting the job done this week so far, but
Nope.
We've got plenty more action coming up. It's going to be the same schedule once again, as you get a nice little shot of Connor's sweaty armpits there. We've got the same schedule coming up tomorrow. PLO 4 and 5 card, dealer's choice, 2-2, followed by No Limit Hold'em 2.5. Sam's going to be with us throughout the week, doing some vlogs as well.
Yep.
Catch that on youtube.com/SamClarkPoker. Seat Open says great commentary, thanks very much. J Buck says, Connor, you're shocking. Billy says,
I'll give you that.
Up the old droid, get gone,
Get gone.
We're going to be signing out, guys. Thanks for joining, and catch up with us tomorrow. See you then.
Cash Game Festival.
It's Cash Game Festival.
Cash Game Festival.
Ladies, girls and boys and men, don't ever miss the Cash Game Festival.